Hello, and welcome to Bandstand, the official podcast of the Tennessee Bandmasters Association. I'm your host, David Adelit, and I hope you'll join us on a journey through the past, present, and future of bands in Tennessee. We'll delve into the rich history of Tennessee bands, uncovering the hidden gems and legendary figures who shaped the state's band landscape. We'll survey the present, where you'll meet the movers and shakers of today, gaining insights from their expertise and experiences. And we'll gaze towards the future, exploring the exciting possibilities that await Tennessee's school bands. On today's episode, Megan Christian and I welcome Dr. John Zastoupil, who is in his second year leading the band program at the University of Tennessee. Dr. Zastoupil and his colleagues at UT are hosting the Volunteer Concert Clinic on February 22nd, and we spend some time chatting about this upcoming event. We also discuss what students and parents can expect from being a part of the UT band program. We spend a few minutes talking about the Yamaha Harmony Director and its usefulness in teaching intonation. We discuss Dr. Zastoupil's journey to UT and conclude with an admonition to band directors across our great state. I hope you enjoy this episode with our co-hosts Megan Christian and Dr. John Zastoupil. Okay, so Dr. Zastoupil, you're hosting the Volunteer Concert Clinic on February 22nd. I think that's awesome. Can you talk about that event?
Yeah, we are super excited to do this. Actually, and I should mention that Miss Christian on the call here is sharing the concert with us that night. So not only are we going to do the festival during the day, but then she's bringing over her group with Jamie Wilson. They're going to play the concert with us that night and share the concert. So that's going to be a big day for us. We're going to have, 6 to 8 bands during the day that we're actually host over at the Student Union. We don't get to use our concert hall during the day because it's a classroom. And so we were able to find the Student Union auditorium, which is brand new. I think, Megan, it was built, 2 or 3 years ago, maybe? I mean, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it's a fabulous building.
It's beautiful.
Impressive.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And when we first stepped into the hall, which Brian Rogers, who runs the hall, is actually a Pride of the Southland Band alum. And so I talked to him and we're like, hey, let's figure this out, how we can use this, because the space is open during the day. So it worked perfectly. We ran it last year for the first time. We had Rob Myers in, who used to teach at Flower Mound. Now he's at Geyer down in Dallas. And I think David, Rob, probably judged with him at some point. Great event, went really, really well, went really smoothly. And so we're excited to do it again. And then we got David yourself to come in and be our guest this year. And so we're really excited to have you on campus. When's the last time you've been to UT? When's the last time you've been on campus with us?
Oh, it's been years. It's been years. I think my youngest daughter was doing Destination Imagination, which is, I guess, the globals of that are held in Knoxville. Right. So that's the last time I was on campus, I think. Maybe since then, I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll give you a tour just when you get here.
I'm looking forward to it.
What it all looks like. But no, we're really excited about it. We're going to do it. Like I said, we started this event last year to continue to support the concert programs in the spring here on the east side of the state. Really expecting it was really meant for, groups to prepare for festival, and so there's no ratings. We're not, checking boxes. It's really a learning opportunity for students and directors really just to get better. And so we have all 3 of our band faculty members, myself, Dr. Stewart, Dr. Lyon, and then plus our guests. We all get to listen, we make notes, and then we give a 45-minute clinic, and it's just intended to get better. And that's the best part about it to me, is that this is a non-ratings festival. Like we're not handing out trophies at the end of the day. It's also a low-cost event, which we try to keep it that way, because I know there's a lot of groups who can't afford really necessarily to go to some of these bigger festivals. And so we wanted to keep the cost down. We wanted to keep it available for any type of group to come. And so we're kind of lucky. We get middle schools and high schools to come to this thing. And so we're just excited to do it a second year in a row.
Is this your idea? You brought this?
Yeah, I did bring this. Yeah, this is one thing I did at the previous place I was, and it was really successful. Same kind of format, where it was really intended to be a learning opportunity to prepare for contest. And so we actually originally called it the pre-contest clinic, is what it was originally called. And then when we came here, I changed that title just to Volunteer Concert Clinic. Just kind of want to seem like a pre-anything to something else. Because sometimes this could be the event that a group comes to, and this is their event for the year. And so we don't want it to sound like it's a preparatory event. We want it to feel like this is a real event for them, to get better. And so, we brought it in. It's something I think it continues to grow. We're gonna, we may change the format down the road, but we never want to lose the educational aspect of it. We want to keep that going. I really am not interested again in it being a ratings festival at all. I really want it to continue to be something that just serves education. I think one of the things that people told me when I first got here is we want to, serve the concert side of the band in the springtime more. And so this was one of the ways to do that. And so we're looking forward to getting bigger, the student union is really hard to plan because that place is always booked. And so being able to get a day in there last year, we were really lucky. And then so they put us on the calendar for next year, being this year, and then we'll get it on for next year, and then maybe be able to reserve some extra rooms and maybe start to have like a cycling component, kind of like a music for all event, sort of, where it'll start to go that direction. Which was one of the things we originally tried to do, was to host a music for all event out here, which might happen at some point. There was one that I think has started at Belmont, maybe next fall, perhaps.
Yeah, Barry Krause is doing one in April this year.
Yeah, in April. Okay, and so I knew with that one starting up, they had said, let's hold off a little bit. So I don't know. I don't know where this thing's going to go, but we're excited to be able to do it again and keep it going.
Do the students and the bands get to listen to each other?
That's one of the things because of how the schedule works out, they can stick around. And so some groups last year did stick around to be able to hear a group, because like I said, we only have one room to do it in. So the warm-up space, the performance space, the clinic space, it's all on stage.
I got it.
And so some groups do hang around a little bit. One of the things I'd love to get to is to where the UT group, we play in the middle of the day. So the morning groups will stick around, the afternoon groups come early, and then we get to play for a great audience, during the middle of the day as like an exhibition type performance. I'd love to get there. But again, we just need more rooms to be able to make that work. So as this continues to grow, and honestly, as people in the College of Music and the university see the value that's in it, I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, getting all those kids on campus. Megan, don't you think we do a poor job of having our students hear other concert groups? I mean, we do a good job in marching band, right? We sit in the back stands and clap and all that stuff, but I don't think we do a good enough job as directors. This is my old man judgmental opinion of just making sure that the kids get to see that. They get to experience kids playing in concert band.
Yes, I think as directors, we have to be very intentional about making that happen for our students. And I think sometimes it gets lost in I have to get my buses back by this window, or what are we supposed to do if we're running up against this in regards to a schedule with like a testing window as well. And so if we as directors don't make that as a priority, I'm worried that our kids are going to lose an opportunity, because for us, I feel like our kids, it's just as educational, or even more so, for our kids to sit in an audience and listen to another group, especially of the same peer level, for them to recognize, oh, that I can do that. They're doing that. I can do that. Or also the potential of, wow, there's more room for growth. There's more room for growth here. And so, and also to be encouraging to other groups and ensembles in the area, especially those programs that are growing. Like, I love that this is at UT, because I think the way they have established this program, it's also helping those programs that are in the very beginning stages of trying to just develop themselves and get out there and try these things. But also for those who are going to concert festival, it's that perfect sweet point of timing of like, okay, let's go and try this out for an audience, for a group of people that are going to give us some feedback before we go and take that next step. But I think we have to be super intentional about it. I think, remember the TMEA concert festival, where people could go and perform if you got a superior rating, and there was that requirement that you had to go and watch at least 2 groups there. And those were some of the best audiences that I remember seeing at a concert festival performance like that.
Yeah, because those kids had made superiors, so they knew the work that they could recognize the work that it takes to get there, and then reciprocate that through applause and appreciation.
Yeah. I mean, it's so much hard work they put into it. It's really sad when you have 5 people in an audience stand up and go. Yeah,
no doubt. I've had that a million times. Like, and I think with parents too, it's not just with our kids. I think one of the things we started doing at Franklin, I think we did it at Siegel too, is have the parents come in. I compared it to marching band, where they come to the band camp performance and they see that 30 seconds of show or whatever, and then they come to the first ball game and they see, the opener, and then they come to the third contest, and and so they get to kind of watch the house being built. But at concert band, they just show up to the spring concert and clap, and they don't understand like where it was. And so,
Yeah.
one of the things that we started to do was to bring the parents in early on and let them hear how, this is the trouble spot. And I would even stop and do like a little info concert and saying this part's really hard, and we're going to work on this. And when you hear this again, then it'll be better. So they could appreciate the growth, because the parents clap for how hard their kids work. And so if we can help them understand and help audiences understand that it takes incredible amounts of work to get to those high levels in concert band, just like it does in marching band, then we're going to have more connection with audience.
Oh no, that's a
Sorry
great
for the old
point.
man soapbox.
Also,
It's
don't
not an
forget.
old man soapbox. I think it's an every man soapbox and woman.
Well, for us too, y'all, it's our music education students. I noticed this last year. A number of them showed up during the day to watch, because there can never be enough of that band pedagogy knowledge, that's imparted. And one of the things that we wanted to do, and this may sound a little selfish on our part, was to bring in a great person to campus for our students to be able to watch, and to then watch how someone else teaches the concepts and teaches ensemble pedagogy. And so, that's something else that we really value, is having a master clinician on campus that our students can learn something from, because they'll sit most of the day. I mean, there were a couple last year that sat a long time, longer than I thought they would, really soaking up that knowledge, and being around someone that maybe they wouldn't be able to see on an everyday basis,
Yeah.
So, and they're probably sick of watching us. So it's probably more helpful that way.
Or they're like, dang it, he says that too. Right.
Oh, how many times does that happen? I love
Right.
that when that happens.
Yeah.
I didn't go to UT. I went to MTSU, but there are so many people that grow up just enamored with UT. There are little kids right now, John, in kindergarten that are already saying they're going to be in the part of the Southland Band. What kind of things do those parents and students, what do they need to do to prepare for the experience? Because they're in the pipeline, you know what I'm saying? They're
Yeah.
coming your way. What would you say to
Well,
those folks?
Well, and I think, Megan and I both know that, because I don't know, but I think Corinne's probably going to come to UT. I mean, I think my oldest daughter literally yesterday in the car said, no, when we were driving past Bearden, she goes, no, next we go to West Valley, and then we go to Bearden, and then we go to UT.
That's right. You got it.
She already had this all mapped out. And so that's one of the things, I'll be honest with you, that one of the reasons that drew me to want to come here was because there is such a culture built in around the state of families that want to have their kids come here. And, one of the things that we talk about a lot is the family aspect of the band program, and how this may seem like a large state institution, but in terms of the band program, we really do try to make it feel small, and we really emphasize relationships and trying to build that culture that's inside the group, to where people know each other, and we value one another, and we play for one another, and we perform for one another. And again, those relationships are just so important. So if it was me, and I talk to parents, I can talk to them as a parent who wants their kids to go to UT, and that what we value, and all three of us, all three of the directors that are on staff, we really, again, try to focus and let people know that we're going to value your child like we do our own, and we're going to treat them like we do our own. We're going to be very disciplined in what we do, and we're not going to put up with mediocrity, but we're going to do it in a very kind, gentle, caring way, to where we build people up, and we want to make them the best citizens that they can be. I mean, we talk about this a lot too. I mean, we just talked about it at a bowl game. At the beginning of the year, I tell our freshmen they should live their life with character, purpose, and passion. Your parents aren't here anymore. There's no one watching over you. So on a Friday night with nothing to do, where are you going to be? What are you going to be doing? And as long as you're living your life with character, purpose, and passion, you're going to make right decisions. You're going to make good choices. And so we want parents to know that when their students come here, we're going to help them be the best version of themselves. We're not just going to send them to football games and performances and basketball games and fly them around the country to whatever event we need them to do and just treat them like a number on a spreadsheet. We want them to know that their lives are very important to us. And sometimes we probably care a little too much about some of our students, and get a little too emotionally involved in wanting them to be the best they can be, and so we have to realize that they are adults. They have to make decisions, and they have to do things that they are in the best interest of themselves. But, again, as a dad, I want to treat kids the way I would want my kids to be treated, and I joke about my kids a lot, but, at the same time, when a student comes on our campus, I love them the same way I love my kids, and I want them to be the best version of themselves. And whether they're going to be a band director or a lawyer or a doctor or whatever profession they choose to go into, the three of us know the skills and the personal attributes and character traits you learn in band. It's hard to learn those in another class. And
Yep.
And like even my kids at home know Dad does not like to be late places. One of the I can't stand to be late to church. If we're running late to church and you're not in the car, Dad is not happy about it, because I don't want to be late. Like I want to get there on time. I want to get parked. I want to be seated. I want to be where I want to be. And that all goes back to being in band and being taught to get places on time, and so yeah, I mean, that's a long-winded answer to your question, but I mean, really it's I want parents to know that we're going to treat their students with respect, and we're going to treat them like our own. And we really do want it to feel like a family.
Well, I was going to ask you about culture later, but you went ahead and answer it. Is this fine?
Yeah. Well, it's everything we do, I think, comes back to culture, and it comes back to the culture that we're trying to preach and what we're trying to embed in what we're doing. I mean, UT has been one of the premier band programs for 154 years, and that's not going to stop. We just want to continue to get better, and we don't want to look side to side at who's next to us and go, well, what are they doing, or what are they doing? We're going to look at ourselves. We're going to build on the tradition. We're going to build on the great alumni like Megan and her husband Joe and all the other great people who've come through our program, and continue to go forward, even if it's just incrementally forward. We just want to find a ways to get better every day, but and this is one of the big things, is it all leans back into the culture, being optimistic and working hard and taking initiative. So, and I will tell you, if that's not something that you want to do, this may not be a great place for you, because we put a lot of responsibility on our students. We ask a lot of them. It is hard to be in that stadium with 102,000 people yelling and screaming, and someone comes down on you and you have to turn to them and say, thank you, sir, go Vols, and walk away. But that's one of the things you learn how to do. You learn how to take criticism. You learn how to take people yelling at you when you're not the one doing anything wrong, and just walk away, and so we do ask a lot of our students. So they have to maintain that optimistic, positive culture moving forward, no matter what the stress level is. You've got to bring that whole stress back down, and like I said, take initiative and work hard. So, and if you can do that stuff, you're going to find a lot of success here, but if you want to go somewhere where we're going to hold your hand and walk you through, this probably isn't the place to go. I'll be honest. It's just not. So.
Okay. Well, what's on the horizon? What's next?
Man, lots of things, lots and lots of things. So, we started a lot of events over the last year and a half. Once I came on campus and Dr. Stewart moved into that director of athletic bands role, and Dr. Lyons started to take over more responsibilities on all parts of our program. We started the high school band day in the fall, where we bring in about 1,000 high school students and they play on the field at Neyland Stadium. That's tremendous, and most of those schools are not the huge 300 member band programs. They're like 50 member bands, where they don't get to do a lot of stuff. And this is a big thing for them, and we realize that. And sometimes in the process, you watch these schools come on the field and you're thinking, here's these 50 students that come out, and you just want to go down and hug every single one of them. You want to go down because you can just tell how much fun they're having, and because I mean, you could 100,000 people in a stadium, their town may only be 5,000, and here they are. This is the most people they've ever seen. Like they didn't even know this many people existed on the planet, let alone like one place, So that's a big event for them, and we recognize that. I guess we kind of brought back, Megan, because this happened before, but for spring game, when we allow high school students to come play with us at spring game, I mean, David, we had over 700 students playing for spring game back in April, in the stadium, who were acting like they were a part of Pride of the Southland. I mean,
our kids love that.
It's incredible. Yeah, it's an incredible event. And that's the thing. We talk a lot about concert band, and that's a totally different thing, because you can't replicate what happens at a spring game with Pride of the Southland anywhere else. Like it's built into the nature of what's happening. And so those events are a really big deal. So we added that. We started this volunteer concert clinic. We started our conducting workshop, which we're going to do in 2 weeks. And this takes me back. I'm going to go back again, but this goes back to the whole culture thing. And it goes back to the mission of our program, is that we want to be an outward facing band program that serves our community by adding value to music education. And as long as we're doing that, all these events are great. And so we want to just continue to reach out, man. We want the doors to be open. We want people to feel welcome to, walk in the door and be a part of what we're doing. And, we had, for instance, Megan came, we had all of the Knox County band directors in back in November. We had an open rehearsal with the wind ensemble where we were sight reading our first round of rep for the last concert, and I don't know, what was there, 50 or so, Megan, that were in the room for
Oh,
that?
yeah. There were easily 50.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, we were excited about that. I told the students this was happening and they were like, oh, yeah, it'll be fine. And then they walk in the door and they see all these professional teachers sitting off to the side and they're going, oh, no, this is real. Like these people are going to listen to us sight read, And so it was exciting. It's great for our students to do that. And I just love the fact we have this great collaboration that's, building with all these different groups and, educators and schools around this area, and so we just want to continue to make new events and get people on campus. We started sharing concerts, like I said, with Megan coming in February. We're going to have Farragut join us in April. We had Independence High School, out from Nashville, came out last September, and so we want to continue to do that. That's really important to me, to share concerts with high school groups, and get them over here, and not just get them to campus, but like to have that experience of traveling here and playing somewhere special in front of a really educated audience, that understands what good music making should be. And then in turn, they get to listen to the UT group. And man, we love playing for those high school students because again, they know what's good, they know what's not, and so they know what's out of tune, they know what's not in time. They understand all of those things. And so it kind of ramps up our awareness too. We partnered with the Tennessee Wind Symphony. We did an outdoor concert with them in October, which was super fun at the tent downtown in World's Fair Park. So anyway, man, long answer, but short answer is we want to collaborate. We want the doors to be open. We want to get people back to campus.
Megan, this sounds really exciting. So what is this like being in the same area with a band program like what Dr. Zastoupil is describing?
Oh, it's really exciting because he mentioned the word collaboration several times. And as a UT alum, I just feel like the door is open, the welcome mat is out. All you have to do is go up and ring the doorbell. and that's a really good feeling because there are so many times where you're like, oh my goodness, I really love somebody to come out and hear my ensemble. And so you just reach out. You reach out to John or Mike or Fuller, and they're like, okay, what day, what time? Do you want us all day? And it's like, well, no. Actually, no, please don't come all day. But if you come in this small window here, that'd be great. No, but it's not just them too. That culture that they're fostering, it's in every studio. I think I've had someone from every studio out and working with our kids. Our kids enjoy when they come out, building relationships with those professors and the faculty, and getting our kids more involved in music experiences that are happening there, like flute day or brass day or trombone day. Name it, and it's happening, right? And so I think it's super exciting. The kids, they're like, so we're super excited about our concert on the 22nd in February. But also they're like, so for the next concert, can we just get a bus and just go? Like, just load up? well, sure. Yeah. We'll just load up and go to all the concerts. And so for them, it's just part of their vocabulary. It's part of their planning. It's just part of their calendar and what they're doing. So it's exciting to see them excited about being engaged with them and taking advantage of those opportunities. As an alum, my heart wants to explode, like with joy and happiness, because one of the last concerts I had was in Alumni Memorial, which is where our concert is going to be. So to kind of have this full, circle of experiences of remembering that final concert. I think it was like when we went to Carnegie Hall, was one of the last times I remember performing there. And for my kids to come back and we have a group and conducting them and having that experience to offer that to them, I think it's going to be really incredible. Our high school auditorium is really nice, but it's not like this, And then also, it's just to see opportunities that the wind ensemble is getting to do. You all are playing for a couple of conventions, right, John? You've got the performance it's your performance in February for the MBA?
Yeah, we're doing the CBDNA performance in Memphis the week after we play with you guys, and then we're playing TMEA in April.
Yeah, so. I think that's super exciting.
And we did ETSBOA last year with yes, and that was before I even got on campus. We decided to play that concert, so but it's just we realized how important that is, and and making that happen, because that group needed to get off campus. We need to play more. We needed to kind of reestablish ourselves as being one of those leading ensembles on the concert stage, and so we've commissioned a lot of pieces this year. My goodness, I mean, we've probably gone on 5 or 8 new commissions. We're commissioning a piece for TMEA. We're playing a world premiere, 2 actually for CBDNA, and so those are big things, because there's a lot of, I mean, Megan, when you were in school, and I won't say when, but the group was on that front page of score dedications for a lot of great pieces, a lot of master works for the wind ensemble medium. And we want that to happen again. So we put that back on our website of all the pieces that, UT has been a part of in terms of commissioning, and making that happen.
So this may be another podcast in itself, but can you talk a little bit about the Harmony Director and your work with Yamaha?
Yeah. So the HD short story was, I think, I don't know about you guys, but when I first started teaching, I always felt like intonation was by far my weakest thing, like by far. I mean, it was not, the musicality piece was not, because I was training to be a professional musician. And so, I thought I was going to go play in a symphony orchestra or a military band somewhere. My dream was to play in the President's Own, and that was the dream. And I took that audition, and, I mean, I was hoping like, gosh, if this works, like I'll go. And so then when I switched, to the dark side and decided to do this instead, that was already embedded. And so, but the intonation just always felt weak to me. Like I knew what I wanted to hear. It was just really hard to make it happen, and I tried all the tricks, and I would go to all the clinics and, try to work on all that. And then I discovered the Harmony Director. Actually, I was teaching at a school 2 schools ago, University of Texas, Arlington. And the marching band there, we didn't have any football. And so it was an exhibition marching band. So we would go around and play BOA events and, all these kind of things. And a guy, Rob Myers, heard us a couple of times. He's a good friend of mine. I go, Rob, we need to work on it. He goes, you need to use the HD. So Rob came out, started working with us on it, and kind of taught me how to do it. When I got to Missouri, I started using it there at Missouri State. And then someone for, MMEA heard about it. And like, hey, would you do a clinic for this at MMEA? So I did that, and that started sharing around. And then eventually Yamaha called one day, and they jokingly said, you've sold more HDs in the state of Missouri than our rep has. Could you tell us what you're doing? And I go, I don't know, but I'm not getting any commission on this. And so I started doing some more videos for it. So it's really all by chance, which is really funny, because I always tell Rob, I'm the last person that should be doing a clinic on the Harmony Director, because technology is not my strong suit. But when it comes to learning how to teach intonation, this is what completely revolutionized the way I could teach intonation, helping the students develop their ears. And so, yeah, this is a whole nother clinic we could talk about, but I'm a firm believer in it. I take it everywhere I go. I use it all the time. And we use it with the wind ensemble. We do 5 minutes of daily drill every day, and then we work with the HD, even with and so even our master students who are training to be professionals, they like doing it. They enjoy it. So yeah, I'm a big proponent of it.
Megan, you've got one?
Oh, yes. Since John Zastoupil has entered into our world, we are now the proud owners.
I actually stood in Megan's kitchen with my HD on her island in the kitchen, and we talked about how to do it right there.
Yes.
So
yes. I was like, okay, tell me about this. He's like, I'm coming over to your house with my Harmony Director. So he's like walking in the house, like plops it on the kitchen island. And I'm like, well, okay.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but it's it's a great tool. It's a great resource. You just once you use it the right way. And whenever I go out and see people use it, sometimes they're not using it to the best of its ability. Maybe using a patch that maybe isn't the right patch, or doing triads when they could just do fifths, or doing unisons when they really should be doing fifths. And there's different ways you can manipulate it. So really, a lot of it's just trial and error, to be honest with you.
Yep. Okay, so as a student, you went to the Aspen Summer Music Festival. Is that right?
I did. Yep. Yeah, it was, again, I was training to be a professional. And so, I went to Aspen. I wanted to see how I kind of stood up against other people that were, in my same instrument family, and got there and ended up, I was like, I'm going to be just okay. Like, you don't know until you get out of your bubble, until you leave where you are and you kind of see who else is out there doing this. And so, but then I watched David Zinman conduct a little bit, and that's what sold me on the conducting thing. And he was so amazing, and it was so specific. And I was playing in the Waco Symphony and the Waco Lyric Opera and the San Angelo Symphony. I'd done that for years when I was an undergrad, and so I had played with but once I saw him do what he did, I mean, Mike Haithcock was a major inspiration, who just retired from Michigan. in terms of the band world. But then, and I'd played in this youth symphony back in high school that went to New York and played Carnegie and all that. So like there've been great experiences, but boy, when we got to Aspen, it was just a whole nother world, and making music with like, Ray Mays sitting right behind you on trumpet, and these people are just unbelievable musicians, it was incredible. So that was a major turning experience. That was 20 years ago this summer. I can't believe it.
Oh, wow.
So when I think about it, it's 20 years ago. Yeah. I have a banner in my office that I probably aren't supposed to have, but they weren't watching them the night everybody left. And so I had one.
I mean, you were just cleaning up, right?
Just me and a buddy, we were cleaning up. So just happened to walk off.
Got to leave the place tidy, no doubt. So what is your story? Okay. So, I mean, you were going to be a performance major. You were going to be a professional musician. So
well,
originally
originally wanted to be a high school band director. I was, I don't know why. I think it was a calling, it was a calling of God to be like, you need to go be a high school band director. I remember being 15 years old and that was just what I was going to do. And then once I got to college, I thought, hey, maybe I want to go be a performance major. I ended up sticking with music ed, and practiced like I was performance, but took music ed, which that's a whole nother podcast, because I really do think everybody should be music ed as an undergrad. I said that out loud, and I will stand on that, because you can always play like you want to be a performance major, but you can never go the other way.
Yep.
And so that music ed degree is invaluable. Again, another day. And then got the bug. And so, I went straight on to get my master's degree because there was more I wanted to learn and more I wanted to master and get good at, before I wanted to go back. And then after I left my master's degree, I interviewed for a bunch of public school jobs. Was really excited about all of them. And there were some good ones like Westlake High School with Kerry Taylor, where I student taught, and it was when Glenn Fugit left to go up to Mansfield before he eventually came to Nashville. Augie Toma's job up in Michigan. And there were a couple other ones. I remember putting in an application with Lassiter and, having Alfred Watkins call and say, hey, look, you're a percussionist. I want a woodwind player, and so we're just fine, and so like it kept happening. And then Scott Borma called one day. I was watching the Detroit Tigers and Justin Verlander pitch, who's my favorite pitcher of all time. And he called, he goes, hey, do you want to come be our director of athletic bands at Eastern Michigan? And to work with someone like Scott, who is a master educator, I thought, yeah, absolutely. Only problem was he was about to leave to go to Michigan to be the marching band director. So, we ended up like kind of trading. He went to Michigan and I came over to Eastern, and I called him every day asking him, what do I do? How do I do this? And, but then I just knew I would never be able to go back and do public school. And so I spent those 3 years at EMU. Every semester I would check out an instrument and try to master the instrument. I almost left actually before I went to Northwestern with a cello. I actually did have a clarinet for Michigan that I almost packed in a suitcase. And then I realized it was Michigan's clarinet and I returned it. Because I was just so obsessed with learning all this stuff, and trying to figure out how do I do this? And, if I'm never going to teach a 6th grade clarinet class, I need to learn how to teach clarinet, and so I would take one home and I just figured it out, and I would read as much as I could. And so I've been really blessed along the way, and, but I wouldn't recommend that path necessarily to anybody. But it's so far it's worked out, but it's definitely been a blessing to be where we are. So.
Well, John, I would assume that clarinet would be pretty easy since you're a master English horn.
Yes, because I'm a master English horn, Megan, the clarinet was an easy one to play. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you so much for telling everybody that. Yeah.
What would you say to the directors in the state, John? What do the band directors in the state need to have on their minds?
Yeah, I would say that we need to continue to work together to advance music education in the state, because there are so many great band programs all over the place, and when I came here, everybody said there's the West, there's the Mid, and there's the East. And I would love to see us collaborate across all of those areas. And so, one of the things that we're trying to do is to get further west. We're trying to move west a little bit, and get rid of these, these walls of separation,
Yes.
And so that's the big thing for me, is I think I would love to see us just collaborate across the state more, because it really does feel pretty, separated, and even Albert Wynn over at Memphis, him and I have known each other for 25 years. Him and I talk all the time about, hey, maybe we could do like a joint concert in Nashville together, just to show people that we really want to do this together. And so I would say, let's just continue to collaborate across the state, and learn from each other and continue to make things better and not feel so isolated, because there's just so many great programs all over the place. urban and rural programs that can all benefit from each other, that we can continue to do that. And I would say we continue to go to the conferences, like go to TMEA, go to ETSBOA, go to MTSBOA when it's not canceled this week, and then, visit these things and be a part of this stuff and really get on board, because there's some really special stuff happening here, and we're staying here forever. We're never leaving. And so I'm totally entrenched in this and for the next, 2 decades or so. So we're pretty excited about it.
Well, this podcast, we're excited too. This podcast is about trying to create connections across the state. So that fits right into what we're trying to do with this. So anyway, thanks to the both of you for being on today. I really appreciate it, and I enjoyed the conversation very much.
Yeah, thank you, David. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank both of you guys. Enjoy your snow day.
Right. Okay, see you soon.
All right, see you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bandstand. If you have topic suggestions or need to get in touch with us, email us at tbabandstandpodcast@gmail.com. Your input is important to us, and if you have a topic you'd like us to discuss about the past, present, or future of Tennessee bands, please let us know. Again, that email is tbabandstandpodcast@gmail.com. Right now we're broadcasting on Spotify and YouTube, so please subscribe, review, and rate. Box 5, please. And more importantly, share this podcast with your friends. See you next week.